All right, all right. Y'all already know what it is. It's Free Game Friday, and y'all know I like to have fun. Okay, so we talk about the lighthearted subjects as well as the big business subjects. And so today we're gonna be a little lighthearted. Okay, I've got a really good dear friend of mine. Okay, national R&B recording artist, master barber. That's how I be looking so handsome. He be having me looking good. I got him on the show today. We have a lot of good barbershop talk when I come to his spa, and we uh we just wanted to kind of put you in on the couch with us, if you will. And so, man, I appreciate you coming out.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Yes, sir. We done had a lot of good talks
Yeah.
and about a wide variety of things. But today
hmm
we're gonna have a little fun,
Okay.
and we're gonna we say fun, but it's gonna be some serious gems being dropped because that's what Free Game Friday is about. Y'all
Okay.
already know, right?
All right.
Free Game Fridays, it's all about dropping gems, whether it be business, AI tools,
Okay.
common sense, relationship stuff.
All right. Well, we dropping gems. Let's see if they pick them up.
Oh,
Let's get
let's
them.
go.
Let's get them.
Yeah. So, man, we both are single.
hmm
And so we talk about the state of dating and relationships and stuff like that.
Right.
And so we're gonna start off like I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
What do you look for in a woman that you or that want to date or potentially you want to get married again? I know
Um,
he's married for like
you gonna
19,
start
20
off with
years.
that question?
Yeah, we got to get them
right
people.
off the right
we
off
got
the
to
rip.
get them. Yeah, we got to give them what they
Put
want.
me
Let's
on
go.
blast.
That's how we do.
I'm at this stage. I do know that I
At
eventually
this
do want.
stage.
I do want to get in a serious relationship again. Marriage, I don't necessarily know if it has to be marriage.
Yeah.
Um, culturally, things are just different now. You
Mm.
don't necessarily have to be married, but do I want a healthy, serious, committed relationship again? I do. Not tomorrow, but eventually.
Yeah.
But what I look for, and that depends on what you want at the time. What I want right now is just, you know, healthy communication, uh, to enjoy myself with whoever I'm spending my time with. So even in that aspect, I'm still looking for something. I'm looking for somebody who's mature,
Mm.
somebody who can hold a conversation, somebody who is, we hear this term thrown out a lot, emotionally
Intelligent.
intelligent, emotionally mature. Um, but all that is we've all gone through something, especially when you get to our age and our stage. I'm 48, was married
I'm
19
44.
years. So, when you've gone through something, and everybody's gone through something by the time they get to that stage, you've had kids, or you have older kids. Um, you kind of, your patience for certain things, your tolerance for certain things is just, you're at a different level. So at this point, even if I'm just hanging out with you every now and then, um, you still have to be at a certain level of maturity.
Yeah.
You still have to, be able to hold my attention, because I know I'm going to hold yours.
Ooh.
So,
You know you're gonna hold this.
oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah. Why?
absolutely, because I know what work I've put in. I know what I've
Already.
been through.
Yeah.
I know what a woman wants and what she needs.
Talk your shit.
It's just, everybody doesn't know, because a lot of people haven't put the time in to know what the opposite sex desires, or how they're even made up.
Yeah.
We're selfish beings for the most part. So we spend a lot of time thinking about what I want, what makes me tick. And a lot of us don't put the time in to find out about the opposite sex.
Yeah.
If you learn who they are, then that helps you to know who you are.
Come
even
on.
better.
Come
So,
on. Dropping gems.
yeah,
You dropping gems early.
they better pay them up.
Already. No, it's man, you said a couple things there. So you being married for 19 years
hmm
gave you that outlook, that different perspective on somebody outside yourself. And
Absolutely.
so that's one of the things too, man. I look at, I was married as well, and my ex-wife and I have a really good relationship.
Same here.
Yeah, I mean that's just the mature thing to do,
hmm
and I don't make fucked up decisions like that.
Right.
So I didn't choose to create a family and and build a life with somebody who was a total idiot.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a huge
Yeah, and
difference.
so sometimes you can't even talk to your ex because you made a poor choice, and it keeps reminding you of the poor choice you made.
Oof.
Yeah. So, but that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother day.
Right.
But I said that to say that being married gives you that substance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely agree with you when you say you know who you are.
Yeah, they say a drunk person tells the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage makes you have to be real with yourself at some point.
Yeah,
When you're dating people, you put on airs, you put on a face. When you have to live with somebody for years, you can't hold that face
man.
too long. You're gonna have to. They're gonna see who you really are,
Yeah,
and and a lot of times you don't know who you really are.
right. You're totally right. You
So
don't know who you
yeah,
really are.
you start figuring that out too in your own
Right.
process, and that's one of the great things about. That's one of the pros about being married.
There you go.
It helps you to understand who you are, and people don't want to be honest with themselves because we all want to see ourselves in a good light.
Yeah.
I be the best person I can be because we know our hearts. I'm good. I'm working on God. Know I'm still working on me. But once you see, and I call it taking introspective. Once you take introspective of who you are and you learn some of these things about you, that's when the true maturity comes out. Are
Come
you going
on.
to actually change some of those things? Are you going to grow? Are you going to fix some of those things? Or are you going to say that's just me and that's who I am?
Right. That's how I am. Yeah.
So marriage was a great thing. We were really young when we got married. I got married at 21.
Yeah.
I
Me
didn't want to
too.
be. I
I
didn't want
was
to be married
22.
that young, but young and in love, and I,
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, so,
Yeah.
so but I had to grow up fast. I had a family at a young age, raised two sons that are the biggest
Pride
accomplishment
and
of my
joy.
life.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
talk about our kids so
So
often, man. And you
yeah,
light up
and
when you
I'm from
do.
Detroit, so my kids are back in Detroit. They're 25, 27. Got my first grandbaby now.
Congratulations, man.
So thank you. So I am. I've got a lot of wisdom from just life.
Yeah.
Experience is the greatest teacher. So just
Yeah.
living, I picked up a lot of those gems that I'm throwing down now. So
There you
yeah,
go.
pick them,
Hopefully they pick
pick
them
'em-
up.
y'all see me, pick them up.
No, man. I mean, you preaching. You preaching. Um, maybe it reminded me of two things.
Hmm.
Number one, a relationship, marriage. So, a relationship of any sort, an intimate
Hmm.
relationship of any sort,
Hmm.
is said to be a mirror into the soul,
Hmm.
and that's the most potent relationship that you can have to become one with yourself.
Absolutely.
And see, a lot of times we think that the relationship is about the other person.
Hmm.
And it is about the other person so much as it is about us.
Hmm.
And we forget that latter part
Right.
of the statement I made. And then the second thing that it reminds me of is there's a quote, one of my favorite books, book called Conversations with God.
Hmm.
And it says, if I am to be whole, like a whole person,
Hmm.
then I am to know that I have a dark side.
Absolutely.
So the person over here thinking they shit don't stink is a person that hadn't met, they're not a whole person yet. You got to know that you got a dark side.
You have to. That's the way
Yeah.
we're made up. We're
Yeah.
designed.
Come on.
We have a right and a left, a up and a down,
Come
a
on.
negative and a positive.
Come on.
We're energy force, but we have potential to either do good, do bad, to be selfish, to be selfless, um, to be conscious or unconscious of our actions. That's the potential. That's why we're given free will to make those choices. But you're right. We have a dark side, a dark potential. We have an ego where we can edge God out of the potential and we can make decisions based off of our own flesh, selfishness, desire, lust, whatever it is. And so yeah, if you're not aware of that, you are walking around blind
Yeah.
to who you
And
are.
you're hurting people
Absolutely.
without knowing that.
Oh yeah.
You're hurting people if you don't know that you have a dark side. We were just having that conversation. I was telling you about, I was asking my son, like, how do you know a man is hard? How you know if a man is scary so he gets slapped or get offended? Let's just say he get offended, let's keep it light. He get offended and he don't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that he's patient and he's a boss and he's powerful? Or does it mean that he's weak? You don't know until you understand and examine the substance of a person.
Absolutely.
And so at the end of the day, you have to know yourself in order to know, like, I could go there,
Mm.
but I'm not going to go there because I feel empathy for this person that did me like this. Or I'm going to give them a little bit more grace because I once was that person as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all on a journey. So I was where they are right now.
Or
And that's
I
powerful.
might not even be that deep. I might not just want to go to jail that day. So, so it depends. No, I hear you. That's absolutely
But
right.
that's a wise decision.
Absolutely.
A fool would go to jail.
Absolutely.
And so at the end of the day, it's always a thought behind the thought. But you said something earlier. We're gonna take it higher. We're gonna go ahead and get higher because we've been talking evasively.
Let's go.
Let's go. let's talk how we normally talk. Again,
Okay.
it's Free Game Fridays. I really like to. I tell my audience that it's nothing more than us being on the couch together.
Right. Right.
We had these type of conversations all the time, and so we just got the cameras on this time so they can actually witness what we talk about. So we're gonna go higher in the style that we do, because we both are highly intellectual men,
Okay.
and
He said it. I did.
yeah, we are.
Okay.
So everyone is a spiritual being, and you just spoke to that. But very few people know that. And so for me, what I look for in a woman, man, it's the same thing I look for in a car. I like the natural, beauty of a car. I want the hot, I want something nice. But that's not the only thing I'm looking at. I'm looking at the engine, the performance that it put out. I'm looking at the fuel economy, right? How much I got to spend to get this vehicle from point A to point B. I'm also thinking about the maintenance. How much does it cost to maintain this vehicle?
Yeah.
And finally, how is it going to make me look when I hop out of it? When it comes to me in valet. And that's how I pick my women. So it's not in Houston, man, we got a lot of beautiful women.
Yeah.
Everybody's beautiful.
Definitely.
Everybody got a nice body. And they getting a little money too. So they can hold it down on their own.
Right.
But very few people are going on the inside. I love when Big Sean, that's your boy.
My homie. Yeah.
Yeah, he says that focus on the inner me, not the enemy. Focus on the inner me, not the enemy.
Well, yeah, that and shout out to Big Sean, Detroit, the little bro.
Yeah.
He's a really well thought out person. A lot of people don't know that. They know he's a dope lyricist, dope rapper. His mother's really dope too. I took my sons to a book signing that she had some years ago.
Okay.
And that's when I got to see where he gets a lot of his wisdom from.
Okay.
But
always the thought behind the thought.
Absolutely. What you're touching on basically is like metaphysics. And people that have heard the term physics, that's just the study of things outward, material. Metaphysics is the study of things inward, taking that introspective and getting an idea of what we're talking about as far as what animates this thing we look at.
Come on.
The things you see are the things that's temporal. The things you don't see, those are the things that are real. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were asking me about death, and I was explaining to her, and everybody has their opinion. I don't try to force any ideas on anybody, but I was telling her that anything that's really alive never dies. Yeah. And anything that dies was never alive. This thing we see, this goes back to the ground. But what animates us is what you brought up. It's our spirits. It's where we get our source from, our energy. That doesn't go anywhere. You can't kill it. You can't burn it. You can't starve it to death. It's eternal. So when you start thinking on that level, like you and I when we talked, and you start thinking about relationship, when you threw that word out a little while ago, it made me think about the word relationship.
Break it down.
Even the word relationship, all it is, if you break down the root word, is just relate. We're relating to each other.
Come on.
Me and this person are relating to each other. The problem comes in because most people don't try to relate to the other person. They're so focused on themselves as far as what I need, what I want. We see it all day in the culture through TikTok, Instagram. Everybody's telling you what they want, what I need. What kind of man you want? I want a man that makes over 6 figures, and he got to be this, he got to be that, and I want that, I want that. Okay, are you prepared to handle that? Yeah. Are you in a place where your capacity can hold that? Yeah. Because if you're a champagne glass and you asking for a gallon, you're not ready to hold that.
Yeah.
So
you can't feel it.
No.
And I need overflow.
Exactly. You gotta expand your capacity in order to be able to receive what you're asking for, or stop asking for it because you're not there. And vice versa. Not just women. I'm not picking on women. Love y'all. I'm talking about just as humans. We get so obsessed within our own minds about what feels good to me, what I need, what I want, and we tend to not think about what am I giving off. What energy am I giving off? I remember when I got married and I was young, and her father said something to me because I was, we was making our mistakes and bumping our heads, and I was getting my feelings hurt. And he said, well, and she was fine too. She still is. My kid's mother, she's gorgeous. And so
shout out to the kid's mom.
I was so obsessed with how beautiful she was and sweet, but I was dealing with these issues that came along with her. And he said, well, when you get a rose, you got to deal with the thorns it bears. And I'm like, first of all, that's a Temptations lyric, but it was.
I didn't know that.
But it was real.
Yeah,
you got a rose, but they come with thorns.
Come on.
and you don't realize, you just going in there grabbing, you gonna get cut. You gotta understand how this person is made up and what comes along with that person, and that's why the most energy you should spend when you're relating to someone, and we call in these relationships, the most energy you should spend is trying to understand who you are, understand who they are, understand how to relate to them, as opposed to what can I get out of this.
Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah.
you're doing that, you might have a chance.
Yeah. I mean, women ask me like, what is it you want from a woman? Understanding. That's it. There's three things. So get ready for your three. That's three
Okay.
things
All right.
that I look for in a woman. Okay. Emotional intelligence is at the top.
Okay.
You have to be able to deal with your emotions and understand a little logic. I'm not asking you to be the visionary like myself.
Okay.
I got that. But I need for you to be logical enough to understand that your emotions are going to always be exaggerated.
Mm.
Then the second thing is that I look for is selflessness.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an attitude of servitude? Not a servant like you're beneath me or anything like that. But do you want to cater to me? Do you want to go before me and make my crooked places a little bit straighter? Do you want to
Mm-hmm.
make the load a little bit lighter?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then the third thing is understanding. Because if you seek to understand me, then that requires that requires you to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
That requires you to sit back. And when I'm saying being patient, I'm a grown ass man. Like I'm not doing kiddie stuff.
Yeah.
I may do something that's so high vibrational
Mm-hmm.
that your emotions think is something different. And if you don't have the emotional intelligence and you won't try to understand me, then you blow the whole thing up. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that a lot of women are responsible for doing that, and men as well.
Yeah.
But we talking about the three things that I look for in a woman. So,
Yeah. No,
what about you?
that's good stuff. That's real good stuff. And uh, just to shout out the women, there are a lot of women who maintain those things, those qualities
Yeah.
out there, and we're not trying to give off this idea that women are lacking that. There's a lot of women that have
Yeah.
those qualities, but of course we're speaking wisdom and knowledge to help the ones that don't have it, so we can get them there. So I like your three, and I would say those are definitely my three as well.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be greedy. I'm gonna say I
Okay.
need more than three.
Okay. All right. All right. All right.
But before I even say that, I want to touch on the three that you said, because
Okay.
you said emotional
Emotional intelligence,
intelligence. What was another one you said? You said
selflessness,
selflessness
and understanding.
and understanding.
Mhm.
So the thing about that um, selflessness, when you talked about them blowing something up, and this has been something that any man that's been in a relationship, we didn't dealt with this. They may take things out of perspective, and you mentioned the word being logical. One of the things I learned as I got older in dealing with, my relationships, or just dating, or any interaction with most women, not all of them, but most of them, I realized that emotional thing that comes along with their makeup, just the essence of who they are, that emotion is almost like a cloud over their logic.
Mm-hmm.
If they're put into a position where the emotion is triggered, a lot of times it's hard for them to run two trains down the same tunnel. It's like I can't be emotional and logical at the same time.
Yeah.
And so the trick is to balance, discipline the emotion, so that you can still have the capacity to pull out the logic, the
And
ration,
let me add
and the
something.
reason.
And that's why understanding is one of my top. Because I
Absolutely.
need for you to not have to understand exactly what I'm doing, but understand that I'm leading us down the right path.
That's
And
wisdom.
and and, and I make really good decisions.
That's wisdom.
You can look at
Yeah.
anything that I do. How you do one thing is how you do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Or how you do anything is how you do everything. And so you could just look at my track record and say, okay, he knows that. So in times where it seemed like I don't know what he's doing,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna let that cloud that you speak of, cloud my judgment,
Yeah.
as you will.
Yeah. It takes a lot of discipline, though,
Yeah,
to do that.
yeah.
Just like,
I ain't for everybody.
and we've talked about this in the shop. Discipline is one of my favorite words, and it's because it's so important for men and women. If they're utilizing discipline when it comes to their emotion, and if we're utilizing discipline when it comes to action,
Hmm.
you could change the world off that right there
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
You know, so but
Yeah.
that's the problem. A lot of us don't utilize discipline, when it comes to the foundation of what we do, which is our thought process.
Mm-hmm.
If we were using discipline just with our thoughts, which that takes practice.
Yeah.
You have to discipline your thoughts. You can't just think whatever you want. Because your
Right. Come
thoughts are
on.
so powerful,
Come
you don't
on. They
realize that
manifest.
they manifest, they motivate, and they drive who
Come
you
on.
are. So if you discipline your thoughts, your actions will fall
But you said it
under
earlier
suit.
too. You said, if you go within, which is,
That's
when
where it
you would break it
starts.
down the relationship,
That's where it starts.
if you go within.
Hmm.
So if I'm going within and I know that my words are powerful,
Hmm.
then I'm not even going to think a negative thought because I know that it's going to manifest.
Hmm.
So what the opposite is people think all kind of rampant negative thoughts. They can't even control their thoughts.
Of
And
course.
then when it manifests, they blame an outside force.
Absolutely.
So now they got to go
The
through
devil
it.
made me do it.
Yeah, come
The
on.
devil is busy.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Ain't nothing but the devil.
you the devil.
You
The
have
devil
two
is you.
sides to you.
Yeah.
Your dark side took over because you had
Yeah.
dark thoughts.
Yeah. And see, I'm not saying that we have to be so amazing that we don't have these thoughts. The trick is to discipline yourself so that when you feel a thought come inside your mind,
Yeah.
you stop and say, no, there's no space for you here. And you replace that thought with a positive thought.
Replace.
That's how you do it.
Not just ignore it. Replace.
Exactly. You have to take it
Yeah.
out and put another one in there in the place
So we
of
talk
it.
about metaphysics. And it is said that if you think a thought for longer than 17 seconds,
Mhm.
the manifestation of that thought is coming towards you. So it's like you didn't cast a line and you're rearing it in, starting at 17 seconds. And every time you continue to think about it, now you at 3 minutes, that thing is getting closer and closer. It could be as far from you as US is from China, or it could be as far as you from US to
Well,
Canada.
you have to know what your thoughts are doing. And I'll give another gem for our listeners and
Let's go.
watchers. You get a second, go on Amazon and look up As a Man Thinketh by Charles Fillmore. Little tiny thin book. You
Yep.
could probably read it in a few hours, but it's a lifetime book. I wouldn't recommend trying to read it in a few hours.
Yeah.
Read a paragraph, soak it in, read it again. It is a powerful lifetime book that helps you to understand that what you think is what you are. We've heard of the law of attraction, we've heard of things like that, but literally your thoughts define who you are and what you receive. So when you learn to start paying attention to your thoughts and you start to discipline yourself, and like we said, you get a negative thought, you take it out, you put a positive one in there, your results will change. Your atmosphere will change. It's like controlling the temperature in a room. You control the climate of your atmosphere by doing that, and you'll start to see that you can determine what you get and your outcome and what you attract. Because you're giving off an aroma.
Yeah.
We're walking around giving off an aroma,
on.
and we wonder why we
I
keep
love that.
attracting the same thing.
Yeah. You stink.
Flies love to come to shit.
Come on.
So
Look, we gotta keep it real. We gotta keep it 100.
So if you attracting flies,
What Outkast say? Get a little closer. Roses really smell like boo boo.
That's
you know. In other words,
right.
you have to dissect that person.
Mm-hmm.
And we talking to men as well.
Absolutely.
Women, you have to dissect your man and find out the principles that make who he is.
Absolutely.
The principles that he lived by. How was he raised? Was he raised with both parents? Was he raised with one
man.
parent? You got to inspect. When you go buy a car, you should be inspecting the hood. You should be looking at reviews. You should be looking at if this vehicle get in a crash, then what are the odds of me surviving? If I get into an argument with you as a woman, what is the odds of us surviving that argument?
We love using these different
analogies. We do.
We do this a lot in the shop. It's making me think about that damn Jaguar I got.
Okay.
So
talk about it. Lift it up.
Moved to Houston, got a Jaguar, and I didn't understand that the engines were aluminum. And they burn out faster. So they sold me a lemon, and my engine went out. And I was mad about that. But it makes me think about when we're talking, you do have to understand the makeup of a person. And you mentioned understanding the history.
Yes.
All that stuff plays a big part. How we were raised, the baggage that we carry. And everybody said they want somebody that's healed. and you don't, you'll think you healed because you walked away from something. And just because time has passed doesn't mean that you're healed.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you don't know you healed until you triggered,
Come on.
or something similar comes up, and then you have to be tested in that area. So a lot of people think they're healed and they're not. There's wounds that are going to resurface as soon as something similar pops up.
Yeah.
So you have to really know who you are, and you have to ask questions. I've only met a few people that asked real questions. And when they meet
Questions
somebody,
like,
they want to know, what did you go through as a child? Did you ever have any major trauma? Were your mom and dad in your life? And if they were they a negative force or a positive force in your life?
yeah.
Um,
So those are good
what,
questions when
yeah,
we
yeah,
be asking these men. So
yeah.
listen to this part. Y'all go back and re-record this thing.
Yeah, your major relationships. How did they affect you? What was the energy that caused the relationship to fall apart? Did you take self-analysis and say, this is the role I played in that relationship? And were you able to change the things that you did? Did you try to change as a person? Were you taking, and women don't like this word, were you taking accountability
What?
for your actions? I told you they're gonna beat me up if I say that, but
They're gonna be both of us.
right.
Listen, because we finna get on that. So let's get to accountability. Let's talk
Oh,
about
man.
that. Yeah, let's go ahead and get it. I know you.
I'm sorry in advance, ladies. We got to
No,
keep it
but
real.
well, you know what though? You apologizing, and you should, because they gonna get in your ass.
Yeah.
Mine too. But it's only the women that need the help.
Right.
So it's like,
Right.
it's like finding a wounded animal or something. And you trying to help it, and
Yeah.
it's fighting you.
Yeah.
And so, but the women that are already on that path and understand that's where they need to be at,
Yeah.
then they're gonna thank us for this segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So when you think of a man and a woman,
Uh-huh.
the strengths of a man are outwardly expressed. We're testosterone based. We're masculine, and if we need to throw our hands, we're gonna throw our hands. So the strength of a woman is in her tongue. She's gonna express herself through her mouth, and so already there's a huge difference
Mm-hmm.
between male and female. You should be learning the yin and the yang and getting the balance and balancing each other out. But a lot of times it doesn't happen that way. So when there's contention, she's gonna fight with her mouth. She's gonna fight with her tongue. And when we talk about accountability, a lot of times, and this is just an opinion, I'm still trying to learn this thing
Okay.
of why a lot of
we keep
women
it 100.
don't take accountability. Of course, maturity, discipline, and just that takes a huge factor, because I don't just because a woman is a woman. Let me clear this up. My mother taught me women are like flowers. They're delicate. Treat them as such, and I'm a firm believer in that. And I know that they're made up a certain way. I get that, but there's also a part of me that looks at a woman and says, you are still an adult.
Yes.
You are still a grown-up.
Yeah.
And you have to uh, carry yourself accordingly. You still have to be responsible to make adult decisions. You still have to have common sense. So you don't get a pass, just because you're a female on certain things with me. I'm just, I'm still sensitive. I'm empathetic. I'm compassionate.
Yeah.
But certain things are just like, come on now.
I'm the same
You got to
exact
be
way.
an adult.
Yeah.
So if you do wrong and you know that you've done wrong, apologize. It's really not that deep. It's as simple as that. A lot of people can't do it. A lot of women can't do it. They feel like, well, I know my heart.
Yeah.
I know what my intention was. You still need clarification, because if the shoe is on the other foot,
Yeah.
a woman is gonna want you to break it down. You're gonna have to apologize. You're gonna beg, plead. You got to turn some music on that's gonna express what you can't say. It's gonna take flowers. It's gonna take everything. They want to know that you felt, and it's really like they just want to know that uh, you understand what they felt.
Yeah.
How that impacted them. That's really what it is. And if you can really convey that, then they feel like, oh, he took accountability. Just saying I'm sorry is not a thing, but they don't understand that that's needed by a man as well.
Right.
We need that too.
Yeah.
We want to know that.
So we're trying to help out.
Yeah,
we're trying to help y'all out.
Men are not rocks.
Yeah.
We're not robots. We're not rocks. We have feelings, and if you don't want a man to resent you,
yeah,
then you have to conduct yourself in a way where you understand that he needs you to be A full-fledged woman, meaning I need to apologize when I'm wrong. I need to take accountability. I need to let him know that I respect him and I understood his feelings in that moment when I disrespected him or whatever the case may be. Because that's the only way that you'll prevent resentment. If a man doesn't feel that from a woman, I guarantee you,
Yeah.
he's going to eventually start to resent that woman.
100%.
And that's a feeling no woman likes.
Yeah.
You know, when he
And
starts
that's
to
why we
resent
got
you.
Free Game Fridays, because we trying to drop gems. Remember, we dropping gems, guys. This is for y'all, ladies, for y'all to understand.
Yeah.
You know, if it could be two men sitting on the couch, talking, or sitting in chairs rather, talking and giving game, this is what it would look like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, man, you're definitely on point. The same accountability that we're asking for is what we give, and I don't think that most women understand that, because a lot of women these days, they have a lot of ego,
Yeah.
and they don't want to be wrong.
Well, yeah. I mean, they
And
battling with our ego.
yeah,
And that's the thing. I can guarantee you, when women watch this, um, the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of them is, well, what about when this nigga doing this?
right,
And I
right.
dealt with this. And no, that ain't working when he doing this. Okay, well, what we're clearly saying is we're talking about a healthy situation. We're
Yes.
talking about people that are responsible, mature, disciplined, and conducting
Yeah, this is
themselves.
Free Game
Yeah,
Fridays,
we're talking
not
about
Bash
yeah,
Fridays.
not at all. We're talking about in a healthy situation where
And maybe
both
we should
people
have some women come on the show, and we'll do, two other
that would be
women
great. You
or
get
one
to
other woman.
hear.
But they have to be intelligent though. They have to be like we can't get no. I know some intelligent women that
Good.
can
I'm
hang
glad
with.
you. I'm glad,
They can have a
that
conversation
sounded
with
bad,
us.
though. I ain't gonna put you out there, but that sounded bad. I know some intelligent women. I got some white friends. No, just
Nah, that ain't what I'm saying. He
I got 3 black friends. No,
if
no,
you
I
can
know what he
count them,
meant.
you ain't
I'm
got
just
them.
throwing them under the bus, y'all. But no, I know what you meant.
Yeah,
No,
we
we
might
do.
have to
We
get someone
both
on the
know
show.
some. We know some intelligent, some emotionally intelligent people.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know a lot of people here in Texas. I didn't know anybody in Texas when I moved here, by the way, a year and a half ago.
Wow.
So I'm just getting acclimated to the city, and I met some intelligent people, some business people. My makeup of Houston, I say it's the perfect blend between black excellence and Southern hospitality. That's the
Mm,
way it's been for me. That's the way it's felt. So I love the black entrepreneurship that I've seen here.
yeah.
I love the business mind, the drive, the grind that I see here. So that's what motivated me to come here. It's perfect for what I do. So um, I definitely have met a few people that I think would be able to
They come on the
have
show.
some real good input.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
ladies, if y'all want to be on the show, y'all find me on social media, DM me or something, and let's get you on the show to talk about this, so we can have a part 2 to this.
Right.
Because we should talk about what women look, the top 3 to 5 things that women want in a man.
Money, money. No, I'm playing.
I mean,
I'm playing. They want
some of them do
security.
say that.
They want to feel secure. They want provision,
Yeah.
and they want to feel like a priority. And that word priority covers love, affection. You know,
Do you
that
give that?
you have to.
Do you?
Oh, well, if I'm in a position where I'm looking to establish something
Okay.
long term,
So
serious,
in other
then yeah,
words,
I
you're
would make sure
saying,
that I'm giving that. But if I'm just making sure, see, okay, I'm about to really spit.
let's
I'm
go.
about to give some
Okay. Oh,
real game
let's
right
go.
now. And I don't know if I should give this game, but I'm giving some real game. So when a man is in a position where he's single and he intends to be single, he's not looking for anything super serious or long term, not looking for marriage at the time. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody respect where people are,
Yeah.
respect what they want in their life. You never know why they're in that position and why they are taking that time for themselves. Respect it, whether it's
Amen.
man or woman, first and foremost. But an emotionally intelligent and a mature, disciplined, responsible man who's in that position, he has to conduct himself a certain way, even when he's dating, because he
Yeah.
understands that the makeup of this woman is she's going to analyze everything that you give her. She's paying attention to your actions and your energy, and she's emotional. So you can't give too much that clouds things. You got to be clear and responsible in your actions with her if you don't want her to get the wrong idea. And that can be kind of tricky when you're being organic.
Yeah.
I like to live organically. I like
And
to I'm a,
transparently.
I'm a very open, honest person. I like to have fun. I'm gonna keep you laughing. We're gonna have a good time. And some people will look at that and go, oh, He husband material.
Yeah.
I am husband material.
But not for you.
Because but I'm not ready to be a husband right
Yeah.
now again. And you may not be the person.
Right.
And that's probably why I'm not thinking about being husband to you. But I'm still having a great time. I'm still giving off good energy. I'm still gonna spit some wisdom at you. I'm still gonna, whatever you need in that moment.
Right.
But I also have to be strategic in how I move.
Yeah.
Because you got to be careful. People will get mixed signals.
Yeah.
And that's why a friend of mine told me a couple of years after I got divorced. She said, because I told her she's like a sister to me. We worked in the salon together. I would tell her, I said, I'm very honest and upfront in the beginning. I tell them, I'm not trying to get married. I'm not trying to do it. She's like, would you stop saying that so much? They don't want to. They don't want to hear that. I'm like, but I have to be honest, because she's like, they get it. You don't want to overdo it, and I had to find the right balance.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to run them away, but
Yeah.
at the same time, you want them to know where you stand.
Yeah.
And if you don't, because the one thing I don't respect in my brothers is when they're dishonest. Don't lie to a woman.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Number one, I'm not gonna remember to lie.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you.
And I'm gonna treat you how I want to be treated.
Exactly.
I
I
don't
don't
want
want
you
nobody lying to me.
So I'm gonna be straight up with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what it is, and that may mean shooting myself in the foot sometime. I may see
Right.
somebody that I really want to kick it with, but my honesty is not what she wants at that time, or the position I'm in is not what she's looking
Yeah.
for, and I may not have the opportunity to get to spend time with that person. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'd rather be honest.
Yeah.
Than to just
I agree.
get what I want in the moment.
And the thing too is that I'm a gift, and I want a woman that's gonna be a gift as well.
We the prize, dog. No, just
Yeah, like we
up when I hear people say that.
We all are gifts,
Absolutely.
but not all gifts are ready to be received by everyone.
Right.
And so my thing is, in saying that I'm a gift, it's not coming from an egotistical place.
Of course not.
It's saying that I'm all wrapped up, and everything that I went through, I'm all wrapped up in a bow. Nice wrapping for the right person.
Right.
So if I see, I'm a visionary also.
Okay.
So you got to look at the fact that I'm a visionary. So if I see that we're not gonna make it that far,
Right.
I'm gonna have to let you know this. I'm a gift to somebody else.
Right.
And a woman should be mature like that too, and be able to tell a man. And then if you just want to play and just have something ancillary, then that's fine too. But let's go ahead and let's figure out what we want.
Right.
And let's be true to that.
Communication is key.
Yeah.
Honesty is key. Maturity is key. You got those elements in play, even in the field of dating. You got those elements in play. You can have a healthy situation.
Yeah. I've had a lot of healthy situations in terms of relationships that when I put them in their right perspective, and I wasn't always this wise, but when I put them in their right perspective, man, I was a changed man because of that woman.
Yeah.
So God put her in my life, put me in her life for, it may have been 6 years, it may have been 4 years, it may have been 2.5, it may have been some months.
Absolutely.
But it was ordained. Our souls, we're spiritual beings.
See,
so our soul,
we're going back higher now. See, that's
yeah,
what I'm talking about.
we got to get higher.
Yeah, then we going
so
back
our
higher
souls inherently know what we need along our journey.
Yeah.
And so if I got to walk with you hand in hand for 2 years, and I recognize as a visionary that the journey is over, then I'm able to dissolve that situation in an amicable way.
Absolutely.
And so that's what that transparency up front comes in at,
Yeah.
or along the way. It comes. Sometimes it's not so up front. It may come along the way. You may be like, man, you know what? I can teach you this and teach you that. Because every woman that I deal with, I'm going to deposit something. I'm changing a life in some kind of way. And I've been blessed to have women that have changed my life as well. Now, are they wifey? No. But did they change my life? Yes.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer in there's no coincidence or happenstance. I think every interaction is for a reason.
Yeah.
We encounter people for a reason. And that's why I don't take it for granted. And I respect it. If it's a short encounter or a long encounter. Life, being here on this planet, this is a school, and we're learning that. You said journey. You encounter things on your journey. We don't stay in 5th grade math forever. We get the lessons that it has to give, and then we graduate to the next level. So you don't get disappointed when you have to move on from something. You be thankful for what you got out of it.
Bless the situation.
And you retain the good you got out of it so that you know how to move forward. And if it wasn't good, you know what not to accept in your life.
What not to bring to the next relationship.
I tell people all the time, I didn't grow up with my dad in my life as far as living with him or, you know, being able to say I got mom and dad in the house at the same time. I got to spend time with him every now and then. And he wasn't always making the right decisions by me and my younger brother, or, you know, being there for us, or he would make promises and wouldn't come through. And I said, man, that's messed up. But I learned what not to do when I had my two boys.
Yeah.
So, you know, I still learned, you
Mhm.
know, so that's how I see life's experiences. You know, I've been in a relationship that was toxic, you know, and I took a lot of abuse, mental abuse in that relationship. And, you know, I'm not angry, but I know what not to accept. I know
Right.
what to look for.
Yeah.
Some of the things we go through is so that we are just gaining the wisdom that we need so that we can say, I know what this looks like.
Yeah.
And I can help somebody else and say, hey, these are some of the signs. These are some of the things you don't want to
Yeah.
deal with.
You've got to bless the situation in order to be blessed out of the situation. Wow,
Preach.
that was a gem.
That was a gem.
Yeah, straight up. Because you got to understand, you have to bless the situation, meaning that you have to be thankful for it in
Yeah.
order to be blessed from it.
Absolutely.
You can't you can't go in and be like, oh fuck her, or, you know, you're disgruntled
Yeah.
about the past relationship.
Yep. And you will not get
Then
the
you
good
you
out
have
of
to
it.
repeat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're
Absolutely.
gonna go higher. You ready?
Always. Let's go.
My guy. That's why I say always. So earlier in the show,
Mhm.
in the podcast, you spoke about marriage.
Mhm.
And you alluded to the fact, and we talk about this anyway amongst ourselves, about how marriage is viewed differently now.
Yeah.
So break that down for me in terms of, you know, and take as much time as you want from going to traditional to now modern day marriage to what you're looking for that you was not looking for in your previous marriage. I feel like you got
Well,
enough wisdom in all that. We talk about that. You're certified. You've been with a woman 19 years. Y'all have a great relationship. You and your kids have a beautiful relationship.
yeah.
You're qualified to talk about how it was then,
Mhm.
how it is now, and how you're looking at it now.
Yeah. Well, there's so many things that play into um, why I feel marriage is not what it used to be. Things are different now. Culturally, things have changed. The world evolves as time goes on, and you know, some things change for the better, some things change for the worse. But culturally, things are different. Even the way time moves doesn't feel like it goes super fast now.
Yeah.
And I believe a lot of that has a lot to do with the technology that we use. We're looking inside these screens. We're absorbing radiation, and all that stuff plays a part in why time moves so fast for us, as opposed to how it used to be. But um, just traditionally, culturally, marriage was viewed a certain way. You know, for our culture, it had its pitfalls from the beginning of time, you know, in this westernized culture, you know, because of the way that, you know, it was always some force fighting against the black family, you know, whether it was slavery, whether it's breaking the male and the female apart, but we still were strong as far as a family unit back then, considering now,
Yeah.
you know, it was something that was respected, you know, we're gonna get married, we're gonna have a family, you know, divorce rate was high all over the world, but that was still something we did. Now,
He say now? Let's go.
now, I'll just, you know, I focus on the experience I have in the major cities that I've lived in.
Okay.
Detroit, Houston. Um, Houston is a big, fat, and we said we was gonna mention Houston. We was gonna talk about Houston. Houston is a big, fast place, party city, dating city, um, and in my few experiences, some of it was a culture shock to me when I got
Really?
here. And I'm,
See, me
you
being
know,
born and raised, I'm not. It's no.
I've
The
had my
part y'all
experiences, but
participate in
whew,
Houston, I don't participate in because I'm a native Houstonian. So when I hear other people from outside of Houston say this, it's intriguing to me too.
I didn't even use the word scam until I got here.
Really?
It was like scammers. I didn't even know. I'm like, what are you talking about, scammers? You know, it's so much going on, and again, my age has something to do with it, I'm sure. You got generational gaps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this younger generation, we call this the sexy red Glorilla
Yeah.
generation. You know, the culturally the way that they are viewing relationship is sick.
Yeah.
It's forgive my words, it's fucked up. Um, it's just it's crazy because they don't understand that there's a a higher strategic plan going on,
Yeah.
and it's ultimately just to keep us from being a
Being
family.
cohesive.
It's ultimately keep men, black men and black women from being a family unit. The way that they promote
Go on, go higher.
black
Why they
men
don't want the family together? Why they don't want the black
well,
family
it,
together?
it goes into a lot of the sick idea that they have that they feel that they're going to be outnumbered
Yeah.
culturally. This has been a push to have population control in this country forever. And when they say population control, most of the time they're talking about black and brown people being eradicated or keeping their numbers minimum. Just the fact that they've been calling you a minority for years
Right.
is a
And you're
joke.
not.
Not a minority.
Right.
We're the biggest.
We're the majority.
Well, as long as they keep you thinking you're separate from Africans or uh, the Mexicans or
Caribbeans.
Caribbeans or Haitians, you got all these different sections of colored people.
Come on, lift it up.
They don't want you to know all y'all black, y'all
Yeah.
all family, y'all the same people. As long as they're tricking you into believing you're a minority, then you will be this
Come on.
subhuman to them.
And that goes
So
back to the music. How?
well, the way, and I can speak to music because I've been in the industry for 24 years. I recorded 7 albums. Started off doing gospel. I've done 3 gospel albums, done 4 R&B albums. The people that control the media, whether it be the news media, whether it be radio, music, they're a part of that strategic plan. And you wonder why we say there's so much garbage on the radio.
Yeah.
You have to be on their agenda for the most part in order to be
To be
played.
played.
You have to because that's it's a part of controlling how the culture thinks and moves. If black people are continuing to be ignorant in their music, if we're gonna talk about keeping the family apart, the girls is talking about we don't need a man. You know, I'm a bad bitch. Just give me my bag. Get that nigga for his money. Blah blah blah.
Get
And
that
the
bread,
guys
get
is
that
talking
head,
about
then leave.
yeah, the guys is talking about I'm gonna kill this nigga, shoot this nigga,
Yeah.
sell my drugs, do this. I got a court case. I beat the case. I do this. It's
Ran
all
off on the
street
plug.
life. Yeah, it's like that's what they want. The same people that control the music industries are the people that control the prison industries.
Come on.
It's a plan. They keep the prison population where it's at based off of controlling the minds and the actions of the people that listen to the music.
I say it all the
So
time. It's a game being played.
it's a
And if
big
you
game.
don't know, then you're a part of the
That's
game.
the unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
They don't know that they're part
And,
of a game. You
and it destroys the family.
absolutely.
When we look at when we go back to history, just being real,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't have to go back far.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to the 60s and the 70s
Yeah.
when black men were in the household.
Yeah.
They were raising other black men. They would dress dapperly.
Yep.
They would have dignity.
Yep.
My dad was old school. This wasn't the 70s, but it was the 90s for me.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad, when I was going to be a freshman in high school, that was like 1993, 94.
Mm-hmm.
He took me to this tailor downtown Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and got me some custom suit made out of fabric. I had never seen a roll of fabric turn into some pleated pants with cuffs,
Right.
a jacket with my name in the middle. I'm 14.
Yeah.
But that's how he was like, yeah, you gotta get you some hush puppies and some wingtip shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how I want you to dress because you different.
Yeah.
And I didn't embrace it then wholeheartedly. I just did it because that's what he wanted, and I was proud of it at church.
Yeah.
But man, that's how them kids walk to the zoo in.
Yeah.
They walked to the zoo in suits. They went on field trips to the library.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the government, the white man, started putting crack into the hoods, into the rural the urban areas.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the rural areas, but more so in the urban areas, and then started kicking the black man out the house and
Mhm, the
compensating,
welfare. Yeah. Mhm.
compensating the woman
Yeah.
for the man being absent.
Yeah.
And if you so happen to think you're gonna fall back in love with this man, we cutting off your benefits. We're your daddy.
Yeah.
And then that started the evolution. And so now with the rap songs and stuff like that, it's nothing but it's just a little deeper
It's a
suspend
result
off.
of those things that
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Because most of the rappers will tell you, I'm only rapping about my experience, the environment I grew up in. But that environment was shaped
Right. It was a game.
strategically.
Yeah. It's a project. It was a project. If we put this here, take the farther out,
Mm-hmm.
make Jordans this much,
Mm-hmm.
and have it a rare commodity,
Mm-hmm.
and teach them 10 years behind what our kids are learning. Let's see what happens. I think that'd be a good plan.
Yeah.
And we'll revisit that plan every now and again to see what else we need to drop in there.
There's a lot of strategies that went into place, and we hear these terms: the Willie Lynch syndrome, crabs in a barrel, slave mentality. Those terms are powerful because those are the things that describe how a lot of our culture thinks and moves, and we're shaped. We hate each other. We don't trust each other. We're the biggest consumers,
Yeah.
and we don't
We don't control
we
nothing.
don't
We don't own
control
nothing.
anything. Don't own anything, but we are spending more money to look like we do.
Yeah.
We want to feel like we have something, and we want to impress somebody and make them feel like we are somebody because you didn't feel like somebody. So you spend a lot of your money trying to look like somebody.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate thing. You don't know who you really are. And
Just like any oppressor, you end up loving your oppressor.
yeah.
So we gonna
I don't.
exactly. Yeah. The average person. Yeah. So this is what we're gonna do.
Okay.
We're nearing the end of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about an array of things. We're gonna go even higher.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you lost
I
some
can do that
clouds
with
in a
you.
minute.
What? That's where we reside.
All right. All right.
So the listeners, they have to understand because we took it all the way around. How does all this tie into relationships? It's because we have bad relations with each other
Mhm.
because of the game that was been played on us.
Mhm.
So let's leave them with how to heal, how to work. Because at the end of the day, man, I want the black man and the black woman to be able to get along, be cohesive.
Mhm.
Later on in the series, I'm gonna have my ex-wife to come on the show, my kids. We're gonna talk about our family makeup and how we operate
Okay.
because we want, again, Free Game Friday is all about dropping gems in our
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things in the black community that we need to share amongst ourselves. The white people do it, the Jews do it.
Mhm.
Every other race
Yeah.
does it. And so let's end by talking about how we can get along together and have healthy relationships.
Well, in order to have healthy relationships or to relate healthy in a healthy manner, you have to take inventory of you first. You have to start with yourself. Forget about the person on the other side of you. You have to clean up your yard. You have to fix the cracks in your walls. You have to fix the holes in your floor. And the way you do that is you have to be honest with yourself first and foremost. You know what feels good. You know what doesn't feel good. You know what moves you, what triggers you. You have to start there. Even if you're not, intuitive or intellectual to understand or articulate enough to express what it is, you just can go with the unction that you feel.
Come on.
I know I feel something. This doesn't feel right. I'm not happy in this space. Something, I'm moved by this. Start there and say, okay, let's go with this one feeling or this one idea, this one thing that I deal with. How do I change that? And you change it by my uncle, who's my spiritual guide for years. He would tell me the simplest thing. He said, work out your mind, your body, and your spirit. And he said, that's how you, just like you would take care of your car. Us guys, we'll love our cars. We'll, make sure we got good tires. We'll make sure we got the oil in there. We check all the fluids. We do all that. You have to do that with yourself.
Come on.
I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna work out my body. I'm gonna be in the gym because that's huge. How I feel is gonna determine how I express myself. I'm gonna work out my mind. I'm reading something that's substance that's gonna put some wisdom in me. And then I'm working out my spirit. I'm gonna meditate. I'm gonna shut down the world for a while. I'm gonna connect to nature. Doing those three things changes the receptacle.
Come on.
And now your vibration is different. What you're drawing towards you is different. What you're giving off is different. You just feel better. You feel different. And so that's the foundation of who you are. If you start there, now when you start talking about relating to someone else, you've already cut out a lot of stuff because you're like a beacon or a signal. We're waves. We give off wavelengths.
Mhm.
You remember the old school radios where you
Mhm.
had to turn the dial
Yeah,
to go to the
frequency.
station that you wanted. Well, people pick up your signals.
Mhm.
And if you're on radio, person
what
looking
you're
for
gonna
shit radio gonna find you.
Tune into you.
So,
Yeah.
once you start to change who you are, the people will pick up the right energy and you'll start drawing the right people towards you. That doesn't mean they're perfect or you're perfect, but it cuts out a lot of the bull.
Yeah.
So you start there. Healing, getting a healthy relationship starts with healing yourself and being healthy within yourself, because it's the other person's responsibility to heal themselves. You can't change the person on the other side of you.
Yeah.
A lot of women feel like they can change a man.
Yeah.
You cannot.
I thought the same thing though in my first marriage. I thought that
Mm-mm.
I could change my spouse into being who I need to be.
Yeah.
I thought that I could change my spouse somehow.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like I wanted to be God,
Yeah.
but it was more so I thought I would inspire her.
Mm-hmm. I
And
said that too.
yeah, and so we had to know better than that. But it's more so, and it's just crazy. That's just how wisdom works.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, if you change you, like you're saying, then you're gonna emit a signal, a
Mm-hmm.
frequency that's
Mm-hmm.
gonna attract the same type of woman or the
Mm-hmm.
same type of man.
Mm-hmm. Or if you're already in a relationship and you change yourself,
Mm.
that's how you motivate the other person.
Yeah,
You can't talk a person to death
yeah,
into changing.
yeah.
Most of them gonna have their guard up already because they've already dealt with you in your pre-change stage.
Right.
So
So who
they're
you
not.
think you talking to? So you switched up and you trying to
Yeah,
talk? No,
yeah.
nah, nah.
But somebody will be motivated by seeing your results change, because when you change yourself, your results change, and they're gonna, "Oh, what are you doing? You're doing something
Hmm.
different. You giving off different energy. You make me feel good. They say a man's supposed to be the head of the household, and I would always say a woman is the neck, and she can
Mm.
turn that head. She can determine which way it go,
That's right.
because she needs to know that her sensitivity, her empathy, is what can control the climate in the household. So there's a role that both parties play in relationship. So if you are changing your energy and your results, you'll motivate her, or vice versa. If she changes who she is, she'll motivate you. In most cases, it's the woman motivating the man to change.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
You
it
know, because
starts with
women
you.
start out being more mature, um, just not as emotionally mature, but
Yeah.
more mature than men. So
I never
that's
liked
more of
hearing
a
that when I was growing up, but
yeah.
it
It's
was
true.
true. It was
It's
true.
true.
Yeah.
It's true. Women,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was
They more
competitive. I ain't want to hear that.
but I was like that too. I ain't want. I was like, nah. I know a lot of childish ass little girls, but nah, they was a
Right.
little bit more mature, man.
Yeah, yeah, but we got to start, and that would be my gem. When you talk about how do you change,
Yeah,
you got to start with you,
yeah.
and start with those things. If you invest within yourself, you're gonna work out your mind, your body, and your spirit daily, even if it's just for a few minutes. Put a
Hmm.
little bit in. People will say, "Well, I don't know how to meditate." I believe it's powerful. Meditation is no different from concentration. The only difference between concentration and meditation is the object in which you're concentrating on.
Right.
If I'm concentrating on a penny or a table, that's concentration. If I'm concentrating on something that is godly or intuitive, God's grace, being grateful, being thankful, um, harmony, balance. Now I'm meditating.
Hmm.
That's the only difference. You don't have to ask for nothing. You don't have to say anything. It's just calming yourself, balancing yourself, and being present in that moment. That's meditation. It's hard to do that when you don't know
Yeah,
how to do that, because you're
yeah.
gonna have a million thoughts come through your mind in the
Right.
beginning, and it takes discipline saying, "Okay, nope, turn that
Tuning
off,
that out.
and tune that out." It takes
Yeah.
a lot of practice. Nope, tune that
I
out.
would say a good method for people that are beginners at
Mhm.
meditating is to start paying attention to your breath.
Yeah,
So
breathing.
just
Yeah.
close your eyes
Yep. Yep.
and then when your thoughts, probably about the sixth or seventh breath, your thought is gonna go towards something else.
Mm-hmm.
Did I turn the light out?
Yep.
Is that candle still on? Bring it back to the breath.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
And then that's what started.
Centering yourself,
Yeah,
balancing yourself. That's huge and it's important. People hear it and go, "Oh, what they got to do with relationship?"
yeah.
If
Bring
you
it
don't
home.
understand how important um, those things are, doing those things within yourself are to your relationship, then you've so far off
Yeah,
the mark,
yeah,
because it really is the basis and the foundation for any healthy relationship, not just a intimate relationship, for every relationship you have.
yeah,
Relationship with your family, your kids, your parents, your friends, co-workers. If you're not centered, you'll go to work and you'll be emotionally moved by everything somebody say.
yeah. You'll
You'll
be a
be
you'll be a ticking
be
time
ready to
bomb.
fight.
Yeah.
You're gonna read something wrong. I remember when I was married, I gave my wife an example. We would go to church. I was a minister of music at the time. I was doing gospel, and she would always think somebody was talking about her. You know, see, that girl says, I know the way she looked at me. And I said, I want you to try something. I said, imagine you're in the church and you look across the room and you see two girls and they looking back at you going, and you can't hear what they're saying, but you just see them going, they got a frown on their face and they like, and I said, what do you think they're saying? They talking about me. They saying something. They want to start something. I said, okay, now I'm gonna turn the volume up for you.
Uh-huh.
Now look at them same girls, and they going back. Girl, man, look at her shoes. That girl, no, she know how to dress. Look at that dress. I gotta ask her where she got that dress from. That girl be flat every time I see her. She was like, I mean, well, I say that's the thing. You're thinking from a negative perspective.
Yeah.
Change the way you think.
Yeah.
And you'll change your results.
There you go. I love that.
Yeah.
And the same thing in relationships.
Absolutely.
That's for a relationship.
All that stuff is important. Perception, everything. It's important.
Yeah, because we all looking at somebody through the smoke that's in front of our eyes and it's between them.
Mm-hmm.
Between ourselves and them. And so we have to make sure that that's clear.
Yeah.
And the only way to make sure it's clear is to go inside.
You can't be lazy.
You
gotta do some work.
Yeah, it's hard work.
You can't be lazy.
But the fruits,
they worth it.
They worth it. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you being on the show, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
This was fun.
Yeah. We're going to do it again. We're going to get some ladies next time.
Yeah.
All right.
Hope I don't get beat up.